All right, welcome into the Coach's Corner, pre-Memorial Day edition. I just want to throw that out there for everybody. We're almost back on campus, Coach. We will come back to work next week here in limited capacity here at Midway, but that does not stop the Coach's Corner, whether we're here or not. We are on the air serving the people. Coach, how's it going this week?
It's going great. I see you wearing your mask there, and I know that's going to be a big part when we come back, even if you don't have to wear them in Michigan to tour certain plants if you're certain people. Yeah, we're looking forward to coming back to campus next week, following some of the new guidelines so we can be back on campus and get the business of athletics back up and running or back to maximum production.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're starting to inch forward here. I know it's been a tough time for all of us, and it's going to continue to be the a lot of changes going forward. But we're excited to start inching back our way to normal here. And I've been hunkering down here at Midway. It's time for this week's edition of Where in the World is Alan Foster? Coach, where are you? I know you're heading back in here next week. Where are you?
Yes, I'm coming to you today from Marshall, Missouri.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, so. Been spending most of this time in a couple different states and 2 or 3 different places, but today I'm coming to you live from Marshall, Missouri.
Quarantining across the Midwest, I'm sure.
Exactly. I can give a report on how every state is handling this.
On the ground, we have people on the ground here at Coach's Corner for this situation. So not obviously, Coach. We wrapped up the semester and finals a week or so ago. So there's obviously no athletics to talk about necessarily as we head into the summer, but we do want to highlight some of our academic accomplishments in the department because there were quite a few.
Yes.
We had 20 of our 24 teams this year finish with above a 3.0 overall GPA, which I think particularly taking into account all the commotion, if you will, of the last month or so with everybody online and all the adjustments and the changes. I thought that was really impressive by our student athletes.
Right. No, that's great because I know there was a lot of hardships and a lot of adjustments to be made for a lot of students and faculty. Yeah, no, that's awesome. 20 out of 24. We've got 4 teams we've got to get to work on.
The team success, Coach, we had 308 of our student athletes make the athletic director's honor roll. I know I'm continually amazed at the how we perform both in the classroom and on the court and fields and whatnot. 178 of those people made the dean's list here at the college, and we had 82 student athletes get a perfect 4.0 GPA.
Wow, those are impressive numbers. 82 4.0s, and again, knowing that a lot of the students were kind of thrown a curveball at the middle of the semester, moving online. True student athletes in our college, and looking forward to having everybody back on campus. But that academic performance is something to be very proud of.
Yeah, and I mean, I know, because 82 people couldn't fit in your classroom, so they must have taken some other classes on campus.
They weren't all in my class, that's for sure.
We had a department, as a department, our student athletes had a 3.218 GPA for the semester, which is pretty high. We had 51 River States Conference scholar athletes, and men's tennis and women's track and field led the conference in the number of scholar athletes we had.
Well, that's good. That's another measurement that it's not just at Midway, but compared to the people in our conference, our teams are performing, our student athletes are performing really well. So again, something to be very proud of.
Well, I think, there's been a lot of talk here in the last few weeks about the importance of athletics, on campuses. And that's really, one of the main reasons is that I think it attracts a higher quality, it attracts a good caliber of student, first and foremost. Yep. And a lot of times, you see the studies all over the place that student athletes outperform the general student body. I think that's probably the case here as well.
Exactly.
So, again, a lot of academic accolades to be proud of here at Midway. Where we want to take 1 second. I know there's been some discussions about graduation because unfortunately we were forced to postpone that. But right. I do want to congratulate all the student athletes who graduated from Midway, even though the ceremony itself may have gotten delayed some. You still got through, and we're really excited to welcome them into the Midway Alumni Association, so to speak, and are excited to see what they're going to do going forward.
Right. No, I know we didn't have the traditional graduation ceremony, but a lot of our senior student athletes have received their degrees, and that's something to always be proud of. That was the ultimate goal when they started this process 4 years ago, and so congratulations to all of them who have completed the journey. And yeah, we hope to be able to celebrate that publicly sometime. But again, from the Coach's Corner, a big congratulations.
For sure. And we're speaking of student athlete coach, we're going to talk to one of our top ones coming up here next segment. We have Hannah Waroway, just finished her junior year. She took home a host of awards during the award season here on campus, including the Margaret Ware Parrish Award, which is an overall award at the college here in the athletic department that takes into account both your athletic and your academic performance.
Right. No, it might be easier to name all the awards Hannah didn't win.
That's right.
Because she's had a great spring season from the award-winning standpoint. So it's going to be great to have her on and talk about her experience and great year that she had. So we're looking forward to that in the next segment.
That's right. The one thing you after this segment, you won't be able to say that Hannah was not on the Coach's Corner. So we'll look forward to seeing her right after this.
Real dunk is good for Edmonton. Wow.
Get recruited at GoMidwayEagles.com.
Welcome back to this pre-Memorial Day edition of Coach's Corner, and we're joined, as we talked about earlier in the first segment, we're joined by one of our big award winners from the Midway Nights a couple weeks ago, Coach, Hannah Waroway, rising senior here at Midway with the Hunt Seat program. Hannah, welcome to Coach's Corner.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, glad to have you, Hannah. Glad to have you on the show.
Yeah, you really cleaned up there during our award season here it wasn't on campus, unfortunately, but Hannah was the recipient of two of the athletic awards, the Outstanding Individual Performance Award and the Margaret Ware Parrish Award, which is our biggest award we give out in the athletic department. And then also won an award at the Academic Honors Night, which was also a virtual event this year, winning the Leadership Award, as well as some other things that we'll get into as we go on. But first of all, Hannah, congrats on your year. Talk to us a little bit about how the year progressed for you, both on and off in the circle. Is it the circle? The ring.
So,
the ring.
in the ring. So it was kind of a rough start to the beginning of the year. I actually lost one of my favorite horses right before we came back to school. So going into the season, it was really hard without him, but we started off the show season really strong and ended up placing really well and pointed up in my flat class. So I qualified for regionals the second show of the season. So I was really excited about that. So that guaranteed me a spot at regionals in a flat. And then as the year progressed, I kept placing very well and very consistently in my jump classes. So then by our home show in February, I was able to qualify for over fences for regionals. So then when the regionals, was practicing every day in and out of the arena, and came out with a really strong finish, qualified for zones in my fences class. I won, which I was ecstatic about that. And we kept practicing, and then we left for spring break and came back, and the season kind of went kaput, which was a really big bummer for everyone, especially since, Albion is at home, which is where we would have competed. And I've competed there before, so I was really excited to get back there. But it's okay. And I had applied for a scholarship back in February, ended up receiving that scholarship in, I think, the end of March was when I got it. And I didn't really expect anything else to come of it, but then we had the Midways, and I got not one, but 2 awards, and that was a shocker. And then a week later, I got another award, so it was crazy to see all of my hard work start to pay off.
Yeah, for sure. I can understand your disappointment with the nationals going to be at or regionals going to be at all being close to home. You're a Michigan native, so yeah, there's been a lot of disappointment. But as you said, you finished up with a lot of awards, and the one award you won is a national award. I believe the Jack Fritz Award. That was one you applied for, and everyone in IHSA could have applied or was eligible for that. So
Correct.
that's not just a Midway award, that's a national award. So especially congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so Hannah, I know you won the Outstanding Individual Performance Award also at the Midways, like we talked about. Why don't you tell the audience what performance that was that you won it for, and talk to us a little bit about how you and I guess your horse performed that day.
Sure. So that was the regional competition back in February, at the end of February. That was my over fences round that I had. I was in a class of, I believe, 6 or 7 other riders, very, very competitive riders, all very, very talented. And I drew a horse that I'd never ridden before, never even sat on him for a flat class. Went in and did my round and ended up scoring an 85. And the way equitation is it's scored out of 100. So usually you'll get scores ranging from 70s and up. I scored an 85, and my second place finisher was at a 78. So it was a crazy jump. Yeah, it was a crazy jump, which I was very pleased with. But that's where I got the nomination for the Outstanding Individual Performance. And with that being the biggest, I guess, group of nominees, I didn't expect to be voted to win. So I was very pleasantly surprised when I won it.
That's great. Yeah, Coach, I don't know about you, but I hate when I draw horses that I've never ridden on before.
Yes. That's the one thing that's amazing, since I've learned a little bit since coming to Midway 2 years ago, learning a little bit about what you all, how your sport operates. The fact that you'll go to a meet and draw a horse that you've never been on, which then I guess, in my humble opinion, puts a lot of emphasis on the rider, because you could draw a good horse, you could draw like I would draw a not so good horse, and, still to be able to jump on a horse you've never been and then score an 85 in the jumps classes and have a dominant performance, almost 10 points ahead of the closest competitor. That says a lot about your riding skills and just the skills of everybody on your team that has to do that. So Coach and I coach a sport where we spend a lot of time practicing day in and day out, and then get to a game and we can't get things done. And for you all to get on a horse that you've never ridden before, it's really impressed me with what you all do, both teams.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Now, one of the elements of the Margaret Ware Parrish Award, and obviously it's not just your academic or your athletic performance, it's your performance on campus in the classroom. It's just the total package, so to speak, here at Midway. And obviously our semester got a little derailed here, just like everybody else across the country, and you ended up finishing it, remotely. And talk to us a little bit about the challenges of that, how you adapted, how you're looking, if you're looking forward to getting back in person, particularly in your discipline, where you are, it's a hands-on situation with the horses. Talk to us a little bit about how you adapted and going forward, what you're looking for in your senior year that way.
Yeah, so when we got the email that we were going online, I was very upset because I'm a very hands-on person. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I like to be with people, be able to talk with them face to face, and to have to completely switch to online was a huge learning curve. It definitely took some getting used to, and it was a new level of discipline and time management and independence that I wasn't really expecting to have to tap into. But after I got into a rhythm of things and, I did my classwork on, say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I took a test on Thursday afternoons, whatnot, it got a lot easier. But it definitely took a lot of discipline to get everything done. Because when you don't have to go into class, who wants to sit down and go through a PowerPoint? If you could go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather, or, have other activities that you could do. So that was definitely hard. I am looking forward to being back in seat in the fall. I'm really excited to see people that I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to. Some of the seniors that'll stay around that graduated this year, I'll be able to see them. That'll be really exciting. So I'm definitely looking forward to the fall semester.
I don't know about you, but if it's one of Coach Foster's PowerPoints, I definitely get up early to look at those. So about you.
Yes.
I mean, that might be different in the equine department. I don't know.
Mine are must-see TV. My PowerPoints are must-see TV.
That's right. Well, we do have some, as always, Dylan did a good job of getting the episode out here. We have some viewer questions just for Hannah from Craig and I. We'll lead it off from Craig in Iowa. And Craig wants to know, as you are an upcoming senior, what are some of your goals for the IHSA next year? What are you looking to accomplish next year in the circle?
All right, so
the ring. I'm sorry, the ring.
the ring. It's okay. Eventually, we'll get it right.
I wouldn't count on that either. Regardless.
Hey, there's hope. There's hope. So I would say I really want to go to nationals, whether that be for their photography internship or for another scholarship. Actually, competing would be ideal. That would be where I would want to get to nationals. And I think another goal would be to kind of be an advocate for people coming into IHSA that don't really know much about horses or struggle with, their own personal insecurities. I ended up actually writing a letter when IHSA canceled the rest of the season in March. I ended up writing a letter to the board, just, thanking them for all that they do. They ended up publishing it in one of their magazines, the In Stride magazine. And I said in there, I just really want to be an advocate for people who struggle with self-doubt. So I think IHSA is a great opportunity for people who don't have the opportunity or the resources to show and compete otherwise. I think IHSA gives you a really neat aspect or perspective on the equine industry. It really makes you hone in on your skills rather than competing on the really nice warm bloods or the well-trained horses. Like, you have to use what you have and what you've been taught on what you have. You have to fly by the seat of your pants. You really you have what you have, and you can't complain about it. And there's no good draws, there's no bad draws. You just have the horse that you pulled. So I would really want to be an advocate for that.
Excellent.
Coach, you're going to have to go ahead with the list of questions. Mine aren't opening up here.
Well, that's probably because Dylan probably did something wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, from Eleanor in Idaho, a frequent texter who got up early this morning, apparently, to send this question in. What advice does Hannah have for college students since you have been so successful?
Ooh, I would say that no matter what you do or what major you go into, what athletic sport you're playing, anything, your work ethic will always be the main reason you get where you are. If you don't work hard, then you get what you didn't work hard for. You don't really get much. But if you put in and you want it more than anyone else in the room, you're the hardest working in the room, then you will get it. Your hard work will always be recognized. It might not be recognized immediately. I mean, it took me 3 years to get where I am. But now that I'm here, I'm looking back on it and thinking, well, I'm really glad that I worked as hard as I did for all those past years. So your work ethic, I would say, make sure you have a good group of friends. You always want to have people that are inspiring you around you rather than people that are kind of Debbie Downers or just kind of pessimistic, not serious about their schoolwork. You have to be really careful, because as much as you want to think that it won't rub off on you, it will. It will eventually. So pick your people well. Stay disciplined, use your professors, especially at Midway. Your professors, your coaches, they're all very hands-on with your learning experience, and they want you to have the best opportunities possible, which that's really helped me, is just having these personal connections with, Dr. Holland and Craig and Keeley. All of them have been fantastic, and they'll be able to get you in, network with people. And that was the last thing, especially in the equine industry, you have to know how to network. It's not so much of what you know, it's who you know. A textbook is great and it'll be really handy for you. You'll have some good technical knowledge, but at the same time, your experience and your relationship with people is going to be your biggest success for you in the field.
Great.
Coach, I thought there was a couple points in there she made is exactly why we let Dylan hang around with us.
Well, yeah, the rubbing off part, we're still hoping that happens eventually.
Yeah.
It is. We got one more question here for the viewers, but I'm curious. You talk a lot about the equine industry there. What are your future plans? What do you want to do with your Midway degree in the?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
We ask the hard-hitting questions here on the phone.
Yes, I see that. Let's see. So I'm considering doing postgraduate work over in England, possibly getting a master's in equine and rider biomechanics. So all about how the rider affects the horse and vice versa. Looking at doing that. I would love to be able to get my PhD eventually. Come back as a professor, not necessarily to Midway, but just come back as a professor and a coach. I think I would really love that coaching side. I've done a little bit here and there.
Oh, can we talk you out of that? I know Coach and I might try to talk you out of that.
I don't know.
Okay.
Pretty
All right. Good. As long as you know what you want to do.
I might change my mind, but but no, I would love to be able to be a coach, whether that be in lacrosse or be in the equine industry. I could go either way. And then photography has always been a big thing. So if I could have my own photography business, that would be cool.
Great. That's terrific. Yeah, that's terrific. More question here from our viewers to wrap it up. It's from Jan in Pennsylvania, a person you probably know a little bit about. And Jan would like to know who your favorite or one or a couple of favorite horses you have here at Midway, and why are they your favorite? All
right, so that's not a fair question. The horses at Midway all serve a very important role for us on the teams, for the program. They're all there with a great opportunity for us to learn, whether it be the baby that we have, Flash, or the older horses like Carlos or Misty. They all are very important and crucial to how this program is run. But I would have to say that one of my favorites is Malara. She's from Spy Coast Farm. It's a sport horse breeding, training, and rehab facility over by the horse park. They were gracious enough to donate her. It'll be 2 years in October. She's not your typical hunter. She's a little bit quicker. She's got a little bit more cadence in her gait, more of a jumper style, but she is a blast to ride, and she has tons of personality. So I definitely say that she's one of my top horses. And then Carlos, everybody loves Carlos. He's a chestnut, and he'll teach you so much from, you can put a walk trot rider on him. You can put one of your open riders on him. He just kind of packs around whoever. So when you come in as a freshman, I can guarantee you that you'll ride Carlos at some point. He'll help the coaches gauge where your experience level is at. So
excellent.
Well, I tell you, Coach, you can see that Hannah's really passionate about the horses that she's been working with a long time, which is kind of the opposite of when you and I go to the racetrack. We have trouble, just like her, we have trouble picking one we really think is a favorite, but our feelings usually are much quicker to turn on that horse.
I get passionate in the other direction if they don't run down the stretch like I expected to.
Exactly. We seem to lose
you might have, if you've been around me, you probably know how passionate I get at some of those suggestions. Well, Hannah, I really appreciate you taking some time here. What's your summer vacation now? And in between I believe you're doing some work down the summer. Is that what you're up to now?
Yeah, I've got 3 jobs, so 3 different farms.
Okay. All right. So really appreciate you taking the time. Congrats on an outstanding year. And we look forward to having you and everybody back in the fall. And looking forward to maybe to completing the hunt season next year and seeing exactly how far everybody goes. So thanks again. I appreciate you joining us. And come on back. We'll be back with the people segment, FaceTime with Dylan, right after this. All right, we're back. Great segment with Hannah there. And as usual, I mean, it's all just the prelude to the people segment, the one that everybody's been waiting for. Regardless of whether it's a holiday weekend or not, they need their Dylan Brown, and it's FaceTime with Dylan. Dylan, welcome into the corner.
I hope I can live up to the expectations. I'm happy we could get a show on this week. I've been struggling to do that here lately, as you two well know.
Well, our first question, Dylan, is: are you recording right now?
Yes, we are recording. Yes.
Okay.
Now I can't speak. The Zoom may shut down halfway down the segment, but who knows?
That was not a viewer question. That was a question from the host. You're aware.
Question from the host.
So what's some of our viewer questions today?
All right, let's see. Craig in Iowa. He wants to know, one of our frequent texters, are you watching different sports than you normally would just to watch something live? And does Alan like to fishing where he's at?
Well, I haven't been fishing yet. So I can't tell you, I can't talk much about the fishing. As far as watching other sports, I've tried to watch some of the Korean baseball, and I tried to watch the cornhole championships the other day. I seem to enjoy more watching some of the reruns or replays of some of our past sporting events. I was fortunate enough the other night to catch the Cardinals and Texas Rangers World Series. So really enjoyed watching that again, especially knowing the outcome. So that,
a lot less stressful. Probably a lot less stressful.
Yeah, a lot less stressful. I wasn't hanging on every pitch this time around. And then I've been like lots of people. I've been watching The Last Dance and been kind of interested in that as well. But yeah, I'll be glad when some live sports come back on TV.
Well, I'll tell you, Dylan. You know how I've never fished a day in my life, but I know that I can tell I can tell that Alan is not a true fisherman, because any true fisherman would have came up with a story about a fish they caught.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Whether they had gone fishing or not. So I know that. No, I haven't done the Korean baseball thing. It's on a little early for my taste. I stick with my horse racing, which of course we know has gone on uninterrupted in many places. I haven't, and the other thing I haven't done is I haven't watched the replays of, like Coach said. I've been it's actually been kind of good. I've been kind of taking a break from sports for a little bit. I think it'll make me excited for when it comes back, live sports. And and that's the other thing, being in our profession, is it is a little different. We're in here watching recruiting film a lot all day. I mean, so it's not like I'm not around sports all day. So sometimes I think this has been kind of a nice break. I mean, I think we'll all be happy when it's over. But no, mostly catching up on some documentaries and whatnot, and a lot of game film.
Documentaries. What's been on here lately in the Joe Krupinski household?
Ooh, well, I'll tell you what. It's not a documentary, but we're about halfway through the English game, which is kind of a story of the FA Cup from back in the 1880s, 1890s. It's a dramatization, but there's some factual elements to it. I think that's been interesting. Watched Waco. I finally got around to watching that. I don't know if we talked about that on the show yet, but that was That was really a fascinating show. Again, not a true documentary, but and then some podcasts and whatnot, and a few that are out here. So we're all keeping busy, but we're all looking forward to getting back to normal.
Which segues to the next question that everybody always wants to know. So let's just get to it. Dylan, What have you been watching? What reality TV or show? Because you're the person everybody wants to know what you're watching, so we can tune in.
So, believe it or not, I've been taking a break from reality TV. I know that might be hard for you to believe, but I've been taking a break from it. I've been into Criminal Minds here lately. If you can handle the gore and all that they handle, you can handle that show. I think it's a pretty good show. It's kind of interesting to watch and see how they profile the unsubs. It's one of the terms that they use a lot, unsubs. So it's kind of interesting to see how they work that case out and stuff like that.
That's what a lot of the players on Joe and I's team want to be, unsubbed.
Unsubbed, yeah. Well, yeah, that or they get the play. I guess Criminal Minds and the Financial Aid Office with the loans, the unsub loans of the two players.
The unsub loans.
The unsub loans.
Who airs that show, Dylan? I'm not familiar with Criminal Minds. I mean, I've heard of it, but is that a network show? Is it a?
It used to be a network show. They actually ended their 15th season earlier this year in February. The series was ended after that. So I've been rewatching it on Netflix. Started on season 1, episode 1 a couple weeks ago, and I'm almost done with season 3. So
well, that's a good place to start. Season 1, episode 1.
Season 1, episode 1.
What I would recommend.
I had been watching reruns, and then I was like, I'll watch it from the get-go. This is
but really, Coach Foster was mentioning this earlier. What's the update on what is that? What was that show? Listen to Your Heart.
Listen to Your Heart.
Listen to Your Heart. We were promised an update on that.
I'm sorry, but I've fallen through with the promise. I don't have an update on Bachelor. Listen to Your Heart.
I can't help you either, because every time I ask a question, my wife and daughter tell me to be quiet. So I don't know what's going on.
That's how you know it's a good show.
There is some Bachelor news. I'm not sure anyone wants to hear this, but there is some Bachelor news if you want to hear it.
That's what everybody wants to know from you, Dylan. What's the Bachelor news?
So Pilot Pete, who was this last season's Bachelor, he is off the market. He is off the market. In case any
was it somebody on the show?
It was someone on the show. She finished in 5th place. Kelly Flanagan, I think, is her name. It was rumored that.
Wait. So it wasn't the person that won the show. No. It wasn't the person who self-selected off the show.
Nope.
It was somebody who came in 5th?
Yes. Someone who came in 5th.
Well, we came in 5th in the River States last year. I think maybe they should give us the trophy.
Exactly. But supposedly they are now together. So there you go.
All right.
Good. All right. What else? Who else? What else we got from the viewer side of things,
Don? Let's see here. One of the anonymous texters, they texted one in here in the last couple minutes. They seen the Bardstown. Apparently, they're in Bardstown, locally in Bardstown. They seen the Bardstown 5 stars up. They're wanting to know an update on Hunter Fieldhouse, Coach. You're in Midway. Allen's in Marshall, Missouri. I think you can give us an update.
Well, we did not beat the 5-star up. I know that made that up. That became operational before Hunter Fieldhouse, but everything's pretty much done in the Hunter Fieldhouse, which is exciting. I think they still got to get some of the the weights and whatnot are not in there or whatnot, but the actual physical building is pretty much done. There hasn't been any. I haven't seen any work being done on it the last week or so since I've been out there. It's all. I think you got to still make sure we get the keys all set and the locks and some finishing touches, but I think it's pretty much done. So it's they said it couldn't be done, but it did. They did it, and the Hunter Fieldhouse should be operational hopefully for the start of the fall semester.
Great. Maybe a location to film the next Coach's Corner from.
All right, yeah, we can take it on assignment there.
Yeah, looking forward to moving over there. I know some of the coaches in the bullpen are looking forward to moving over there as well. Let's see. Jan in Pennsylvania. Jan in Pennsylvania. She wants to know corner handicapping, Coach.
No.
You mentioned horse racing. It's back.
It never left, Dylan. It never left.
It never did leave. It temporarily left at Churchill Downs, but it's back in Kentucky. Churchill. It's back in Kentucky. She just seen the Preakness was moved to October 3rd. What does that do with the Keeneland Fall meet? And Midway basketball practice and game schedule. How does that factor in?
Well, yeah, I don't know. All legitimate questions. Believe me, we've spent a lot of time considering it here in the office.
All issues to be figured out.
That's right. That's the unintended consequences of this thing. Yeah, so they did. The Preakness is now going to be the third leg of the Triple Crown. The Belmont will be in June 20th, maybe, later in June. And they're going to run it at a mile and an eighth, I think.
Yep, mile and an eighth.
So that's not going to be the traditional Belmont, but it'll be a prep race now for the Kentucky Derby. They just announced a new Derby prep schedule with more points to be added. So that's going to be an unconventional way to get there this year. But yeah, so it'll go Belmont. Belmont, Kentucky Derby in September on Labor Day weekend, and then Preakness in October, which they're going to continue to run at Pimlico. Going forward. They just announced, I believe, the state of Maryland announced that they're giving the money to renovate Pimlico, so they're going to keep it there instead of moving it to Laurel. So, what it does for the fall meet in Keeneland, I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know if they'll delay the fall meet now by a week, or if they'll just run, and maybe they might get a big crowd on Preakness Day there if they still run the same weekend. I don't know. It might be a little different format. I think whenever Keeneland comes back for live racing, everybody's going to be excited to be there. So I don't care when they started, it'll be there.
Absolutely.
So in terms of our schedule, I don't think it'll have a ton of an impact on our schedule. We will still be hopefully practicing at that time, and we'll just may have to practice early that day so we get out and make sure all the players can watch the Preakness.
That's right.
Yes, yes.
And then we have the Breeders' Cup coming in there in November, so that will affect that might affect the Midway basketball schedule too. I wouldn't look for any games being scheduled on November 7th.
Because that may be an open day on the schedule. Just a hunch.
It might be. So yeah, exciting stuff. We had not a lot of some prep races coming up at Churchill this weekend. As you said, they just started racing again last weekend. The Matt Wynn Stakes, I think, with Maxfield. That's the horse of the week to watch, Dylan. Maxfield.
Okay.
I believe he's at Churchill Downs this week for the Matt Wynn. He's the or maybe it's Gulfstream. I should probably know that, but that's the horse to watch. He really hasn't raced as a 3-year-old yet. He had some injury concerns, and he's back. And he was early on as a 2-year-old one of the favorites for the Derby. So everybody's looking to see how he performs.
So this delayed Derby season's really helped him, put him back in the hunt. For sure.
One of the horses I did notice who might be running in I think they said the Breeders' Cup was Monomoy Girl.
Monomoy Girl came back and won handily.
Yep.
At Churchill Downs on Saturday, and looked. She hadn't raced in like 2 years, or a year and a half, and went back out there. It was like riding a bike.
Yep.
Just rolled past everybody. So Monomoy Girl is hopefully pointing toward, I'm sure, the distaff or something in November.
All right. Speaking of horse racing, Craig in Iowa wants to know: do you prefer being at the track to watch the race, or what about now, whenever you just watch it on TV?
Coach, what's you've become a savant here about horse racing.
Yeah, since the last 2 years and had the opportunity to go to Keeneland and Churchill with Joe and different people, I'm much more a fan of it in person than I am on TV. I enjoy watching on television, but the experience at Keeneland or Churchill, either one, hands down is what I prefer. Really, really love the whole atmosphere and the whole day. And Kim, like you said, looking forward to the Keeneland meet in the fall so we can get out there again. And so, no, I prefer it in person.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's consensus, Dylan. I mean, it's been great now in these uncertain and unprecedented times, Dylan. So hopefully we get those phrases in there. It's been good to have something on TV to watch, even though we haven't been able to go to the track. But it's not the same. It's great to see the crowds do, just like always, bring a lot of energy. I think that's going to be an interesting thing when professional sports start up again with no crowd. How is that going to affect the games? I think that's a really good question. If we ever get back here to baseball or the NBA or the NHL, how does that affect the game with no crowds? Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll affect it some. But
on that subject, I did see an interview where, NASCAR went back to racing with no fans. And I saw some of the drivers talked about they didn't really know how it was going to be, but they really could tell a difference. And the energy that comes from the fans in the stands. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what other sports do. But it's a good point. At the horse races, the fans make the event as much as anything. So,
Yeah, for sure.
It'll be interesting.
For sure.
That is for sure.
All right, Dylan, we got one more question. I think I'm going to take the liberty to ask this because it's for you.
Uh-oh.
It's a question for you
Oh,
to
boy.
finish off this week's FaceTime.
Oh, boy.
And it's also from Craig in Iowa. And Craig
Okay.
wants to know, what are the chances of a bourbon warehouse fire this year?
Oh, man. Let's hope none. Let's hope none. I mean,
Because we're on quite a string here.
I thought since I moved to Kentucky, I thought those were annual rites of passage, like the Derby, and then there's a warehouse fire.
let's hope not. Let's see. What was it? 2 years ago, we had the warehouse collapse.
We had a collapse in Barton.
We had the
Barton.
collapse, and then last year was it last year? I think we had the fire
In Frankfurt, I think.
We had the fire in Frankfurt. So we don't need to lose.
I think there might have been another one in Owensboro, actually, too.
Yes, I think there was. Yes.
Yeah, it's become like it's like the hurricane season. Maybe we should start having names for them, like the Dylan Fire, and then whatever comes out, the FGEH. Yeah. So we'll cross our fingers for no warehouse fire, but
No fire.
odds are pretty good, Craig. I would say I'd place it about 8-1. 8-1 that there'll be a fire this year.
That you can make good money off of that one.
Yeah. All right. And if you can pick the two distilleries that go on fire, it's a big exact.
Exactly right there.
All right.
Big
Well, that
exact.
was appreciate Dylan coming on again. We'll be back right after this to wrap up this week's edition of the Coach's Corner. All right, we're back to wrap it up, Coach. I don't know about you. I thought that was a pretty good show.
I think it's been a really good show, especially from the content area. We might have slipped a little bit from the technical standpoint this episode with some technical difficulties, but from a content standpoint, another outstanding show.
Yeah, per usual. I mean, we usually bring the we are a content machine
Exactly.
here in the department. So we're all just doing our part to try to get Dylan to be to win his third straight SID of the year in the River States. That voting, that nomination process just opened up here recently, so we're all crossing our fingers that Dylan will bring it home again.
Yes, we're and not just crossing our fingers, but really expecting it. So I mean, Dylan, you can't let us down.
And well, to that end, we're trying to add a little tweak here to the Coach's Corner, and which was suggested by future SID of the year, once and future SID of the year, Dylan Brown. And be on the lookout here next week for the Go Midway go to Twitter at Go Midway Eagles for next week's Twitter poll, Coach's Corner poll, to see who you'd like to see on the next Coach's Corner. So we're going to give the people some options, and we're going to give them a chance to see who they would like to see us talk to here in the next summertime edition of the Corner.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that and get your votes in so we can start booking some guests that you want to see.
This is your show as much as it is ours.
Exactly. We need your suggestions of who you'd like to see, and we'll get them on the air and ask them the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, I mean it's not as much of your show as it is our show, but it's still your show too. So and as always, you can send in questions to the text line or vote via text once the poll comes out. We'll have to see who Dylan puts as possibilities, but once it comes out, you can send in some stuff to the text line at 859-846-5327 or tweet at Go Midway Eagles, tweet hashtag Coach's Corner.
Right.
So that'll be on the lookout for that. That'll be exciting. We want to wish everybody a great Memorial Day weekend here. I know it's we still got to stay safe across the country there and in Kentucky. I know the temptation is going to be to get out there and with all the nice weather and the holiday weekend and mix around there, but we got to make sure we're doing it responsibly.
Right, got to do it safely and practice our social distancing. But yeah, hope everyone has a great Memorial Day, and again, a time to thank everyone who has served our country and big appreciation for everything that people have done. And we'll get through this. This will be a different Memorial Day type weekend, but one that we'll get through, and hopefully next year we'll be back to a more normal Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, and even though we're it's obviously in memoriam, we're remembering things, but nothing says we can't remember the people who are currently out there helping us, all the medical professionals, all the people everywhere really who have kind of chipped in and kind of done what they can to try to, get us back on the normal path and stem the tide of the virus, which is, which has been a really big effort, particularly in the medical community.
Right. A lot of frontline heroes out there that, remain faceless and nameless, but definitely need to be thanked for everything they're doing. That's for sure.
And Midway, one of our prime majors here is the nursing program. So a lot of those people who are helping are probably Midway graduates.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So we're, we have the weekend coming up. Coach and I, next time, we still may be over Zoom, but we'll probably be both back here in Midway, Kentucky, because we start transitioning back to work here, Healthy at Work. On Tuesday after the break, we'll start having some people here on campus in the offices and whatnot. Still not visitors yet, but there is some thought that perhaps if you're thinking about Midway for either next fall or in the future, if you're a high school junior or transfer student, there is some thought that we may be able to start hosting people to visit, perhaps in limited numbers, starting in June.
That's great news. I'm looking forward to being back, but also looking forward to hopefully that materializing where we can host people on our campus. We have such a beautiful campus that we'd like to show it off to as many prospects as we can, but we want to do it safely as well.
That's right. So be on the lookout for all that information at Go Midway Eagles. You'll have the Twitter poll. You'll have some information I'm sure, on visits and whatnot, and everything else that's happening in the Eagle Empire. Coach, a safe trip back here.
I have a safe trip, and I'll see you next week.
Can't wait.
Look forward to it. Everybody have a great weekend.
Outstanding. All right. Be safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on the Coach's Corner.